Good morning, fellow Plexers. I'm going to do a quick subtitle recap for a gentleman named Scott who's trying to get the non-English parts of a SRT subtitle to work. So first of all, you have to ignore anyone who talks about on-demand subtitles when you're dealing with a local subtitle. So let's talk about on-demand subtitles first. Every Plex client app has the ability to connect to Opensubtitles in what I would call a last-ditch effort in order to compensate for not having local subtitles on the server with the media. So these are the devices that it works with. So if you're on your Android TV, your Fire TV, or your Roku, and you need a subtitle and you search for one, Opensubtitles has a lot of subtitles, but they're all named based on the scene release naming schemes. And it kind of depends where you get your media. If you rip your media yourself and you trim it yourself, the length of your movie is going to be shorter than what the scene release might release themselves, and the subtitle will never sync. Then you add into the fact that there may be 2 or 3 releases of a movie. Take Star Wars, for example. There's multiple releases of that, multiple theatrical cuts. So you'd have to know which subtitle you were grabbing for which version of the movie. Maybe there's a movie that has a regular release version and an unrated version. Well, the subtitle would have to be matched because the unrated one would be slightly longer than the theatrically released one. So it's a last-ditch effort, and it does not transfer one of these online subtitles back to the server. It's a temporary connection, which fools people because Plex is so smart. If you stop a movie or a TV show and come back to it 2 months later or 2 hours later, Plex remembers that Opensubtitle connection for that specific media. In no way does it transfer this to your server. So you have to understand the 2 different support articles. So local subtitles is actually pretty easy once you understand what you're doing. I recommend using SRT subtitles. You can get them from Opensubtitles, but I prefer Subscene. It's an easier interface. You can sort for English subtitles. You can sort for forced subtitles, which Scott is looking for, the non-English parts. They're called forced. And you can have a subtitle either embedded with your media, or it can be external. So he would be looking for an external subtitle file that would go in the same folder as his TV show episode or the same folder as his movie. So basically, you name it exactly as the movie. Plex uses Avatar as the movie name, which is the same way it's listed at the movie database. And then they simply add a extension flag, a .en for the English language, .srt, which is the subtitle file format. This can be 3 letters. It can be ENG, as it says here. So then they tell you how to use the extension flag for a hearing impaired subtitle, or SDH, and a default subtitle would simply just be by itself. It would be the language code and then the SRT extension. So for the same movie Avatar, we have the movie named simply. We have the default subtitle flagged to be the English language. And then we have the forced one, and they've switched things up. They've used the ASS subtitle format. I don't know where to find those. If you're searching Subscene or Opensubtitle, they're going to be SRT. So basically it would just be en.force.srt. And now they threw in a German language, a DE. I'm sorry, not German. I think this is Dutch. And then a Dutch force subtitle. And please correct me if I've got DE wrong. So then we'll drop down and they just show the same thing for a TV show, but they're using this SMI type of subtitle instead of SDH. So it really is that easy. You find the subtitle, I would name it properly, and I would open up the media in VLC to see if you've got a synced subtitle, because you might have different versions of a subtitle on a website like Opensubtitles or Subscene. So next, let's see here, we will show you an example of a difficult show. I happen to be collecting War of the Worlds. And you can see that I've got these first two episodes named kind of funny. I've thrown in an SUB just as a reminder to tell me that the forced subtitle is hard-coded in these two episodes. Every other episode, I have a separate forced subtitle named appropriately. So however I name my episode, War of the Worlds 2019, the season episode code, the proper episode name for this is episode 3. I have some media descriptors included in the file name, and then it's the same as what the guide says. .eng for the English language and .forced for the foreign audio, or the alien audio that some people refer to it by. And you'll see I have a forced subtitle file for everything except for the last episode. I don't know if I found one yet. There's actually 2 more episodes coming. Well, this one looks like it has a forced subtitle included in the container file. So let's talk about embedded subtitles. I'm going to open this episode up with MKVtoolnix. And let me see here. So I don't have a subtitle here. What am I missing? Oh, I'm sorry. Just sorted wrong. There's the forced subtitle. Let's open up another one. Sometimes you'll find an embedded subtitle. All right, so this container file has 2 embedded French subtitles already in the container. So if I open that one up in VLC and pause it so I don't get a copyright strike, you'll see I have 3 subtitle files. The 2 embedded ones that came with a container file, and the forced external one that I named appropriately. So then the last trick is, let's open up my server and I'll show you how to have forced subtitles displayed automatically. So if we go down to the language section, you have to click automatically select audio and subtitle tracks. Prefer audio tracks in my native language, English, and the subtitle mode is shown with foreign audio. That's what needs to be selected. And prefer subtitles in English. That's all there is to it. Plex has recently changed the interface, and there used to be subtitle settings up here, just like you'd have in any client app to set your web preferences for subtitles. They had nothing to do with subtitles being forced on the server down in this section. And I see that Plex has rearranged things, so I can't find that anymore. They may have removed that. Let's see, Plex Web. So we're left with the language option, but I don't have anything about subtitles besides positioning. You used to be able to set some more settings on just the website of Plex or app.plex.tv for those settings, just like any other client. But Plex has kind of changed that up, and I think it's for the better, because anything here in this area I think should be server side. And I think it's confusing that somebody could find a subtitle setting here and not realize it wasn't for the server. It was for actually playing media through the server window. So hopefully that explains things for Scott, and it's very important to understand that the client subtitles, the on-demand subtitles, have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with subtitles on your server. They don't transfer. They don't come into the server. People think they do because if they come back to the same video, that choice is remembered and will reload a second time, whether it's a week later or a year later. Plex is pretty smart like that. Thanks for watching.